I'm not ready yet, ready to forget now. I'm not ready yet, ready to forget. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Jochen Hahn around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn 1.
And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. They've not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, 7 laps of Spa-Francorchamps?
Yeah. We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport.
Cranston and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season. So they go back up the hill towards the Schumacher. Nils Kor clips the back at 10. Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Kor. They go over the hill and Povey's around.
Oh my god, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail, isn't it? Hit me in the right direction. Thank you so much.
23 cars.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chaz Draycott Media, and welcome to the finale of Season 6 of the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge. And welcome to the finale of the SRM GT4 Challenge with Chaz Draycott Media broadcasting and organisation. This is the end of an era for SRM. Been organising the events and everything for them for a few years now, and it's been an absolute journey, and it's been wonderful with the man himself, Andy Marston, who is the boss man at SRM. He built a fantastic community all the way back in 2021. We started with special events at Spa-Francorchamps, moving to Alton Park even as well, and then came up with this fantastic championship, the GT4 Challenge, which has been one of the most enjoyable series to broadcast for the last few years, but all good things must come to an end, and this is the final race meeting of the championship at present, and I'm delighted to say that I'm not alone for this final curtain call with Ed May alongside me in the box. Ed, we had a great race here last season actually, but tonight with 2 sprint races here, this is going to be a very, very different pickle to get these drivers into.
Yes, definitely, especially with points only going down all the way to 12th position. Not a huge amount, obviously, to go between the top 2 in the championship as well. Lots of points still to play for. It's going to go right down to the wire. At least that's what I'm hoping for. It's been a wonderful journey we've been on, hasn't it, Chaz, with the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge. Obviously, for me, started as a driver and then shifted into the commentary box. But I know you, Chaz, you've been in the box for every single race of this championship across all of its seasons, and it's it's been really wonderful to be a part of.
Even being subbed in for Marco Ferrini as well during the club racing event that we did, which was fantastic fun. This is how the championship looks then coming into the final race meeting of the season, and it is Lewis Ward 5 points clear of Taylor Adams. Now, Taylor is having an absolute whirlwind of a championship so far this season. He's had a great run through things up to this point, but at the moment he is actually yet to win a race. He and Jake Cranstone have both only got second places as their best finishes of the season, and funnily enough, every time one has been on the podium, the other has also been on the podium. They have never had a podium without the other sharing one of those top 3 steps. That's a statistic that I've only just realised as well. Very first race of the season at Road Atlanta, Jake Cranstone was second, with Taylor Adams third. And then at Donington, it was second for Taylor, third for Jake. And last time out at Imola, second for Taylor, third for Jake. So still a lot to look for there. The team's championship is close as well. Regenta and Satellite and Altitude 3M Esports, just 6 points apart for 3 teams. It's going to be crazy, crazy close. But now the cars make their way out of the pit lane to get the final qualifying session underway here. And what a difficult circuit they're on here tonight, Ed, at the Nurburgring. This place very unforgiving, even when it's just the Grand Prix circuit like we're doing tonight, you know, with the Mercedes Arena, loads of very sharp corners. This is not a place for the faint of heart, is it? Let alone going onto the Nordschleife.
No, it isn't. Thankfully, obviously, yeah, we don't have the Nordschleife to contend with. It's just the GP section. See the drivers getting out into qualifying, and funnily enough, actually, interestingly, Taylor Adams, Regenta Sim Racing, are not the first cars out on track.
No, they're not, for once. For once they are not. Jake Cranstone, by the way, has gotten rid of the gold on his car as well for tonight. He's 17 points back in the championship at present, so he's still got a chance of winning, as there's a maximum of 30 points here tonight, 15 points to win in a race, and it's 12 for second, 10 for third, and then it's just 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for the rest. But yeah, Jake getting rid of the gold, as he is maybe not confident that he's going to hold on to his championship title after this evening. The pink of the Mr. Blobby colours, effectively. Same with his teammate Stephen Burns and the other Masters of Torque machine. It still looks great though, doesn't it?
Yes, it does as well. It's sort of reminiscent of the time when, obviously at the end of, I believe it was last season, everyone was running the pink wheels.
Yeah.
Didn't they? We had basically the entire grid, the final race of the season, then all with pink wheels, because they know how much we, or at least you, Chaz, love them.
Oh, I love it.
Could be a little tribute, but slightly more tasteful. It's more of a pastel than a neon. As I say that, I see some drivers with neon pink wheels. The Porsche just up ahead, number 22 of Chris Jennings. If we come to him.
Oh,
and
apologies.
John Roberts as well, actually. Running bright pink with sort of magenta wheels.
Yeah, some of them seemingly doing it as a way to say goodbye. I did wonder if any of them would do that. You can see actually, yeah, the Aston Martin in the background as well, also doing the same. Thanks, guys. Massively appreciated. Rob Sutherland in the chat saying, who cries first, Ed or Chaz? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure that either of us could bet on the other at this point, but what a journey it's been, and we certainly look forward to finishing it on a high here this evening. Now I want to apologise for something in advance, and it's this camera here as we watch Adam Watson go by, because it does that horrible. Anyway, we've got drivers to look at, one of which is this man, Lewis Ward, car number 97 for Team 11. He's already a 2-time champion of the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge. Nobody else has more titles. We have Simon Povey as the first ever champion. Lewis then went on to win back-to-back titles in seasons 2 and 3. Season 4 went the way of Nils Kaur, and then season 5 was the number 1 for this season, Jake Cranstone. He currently is the reigning champion. He's in with a chance of winning it here tonight, but I tell you what, how good a feel-good story would it be if Taylor Adams takes the championship here tonight, Ed? He's been so close on so many occasions. I think since flipping heck, way back in maybe season 2 or 3, Taylor's been right up there.
Yeah. Definitely think it was season 3, I think, when we saw them obviously putting blistering lap times in qualifying. I think the season 3 opener was at Laguna Seca.
Yeah.
Memory serves right, and then they just got into some rotten luck. Both of the Regenta drivers, actually, Taylor and Matt Slight, just getting caught up in incidents. Hopefully that will not be the case here tonight. So far, so good, isn't it? Working together, doing what they always do. That teamwork does tend to help them out quite well in qualifying.
Does indeed.
As reminiscent of what me and Andy Hopley did in season 1, always getting the H Motorsport cars out 1 and 2.
Adam Watson currently 7th in the championship. He's the only driver to win more than one race this season, but due to the drop scores and missing the first round of the championship, Adam has not been right at the sharp end, and it's not really been indicative of his season and his pace, because I think last time out at Imola was a real indication of Adam's pace. He was absolutely unstoppable at Imola, and even though he had to save a little bit of fuel here and there, once he got his foot down to try and break away from everyone, he was completely unstoppable. It was just absolutely amazing to watch, and he disappeared over the horizon, won the race by multiple seconds, and he's currently fastest at the moment from Lewis Ward. Then Ben Idris Abdullahi, he's had a really good season in this BMW actually, currently finds himself in 6th position. He's had a mixed bag of results. He had a race victory, but he's had a bunch of top 5s, a couple of top 10s. He had a 17th place. He had a very poor result at Sebring after early contact, I believe. Finds himself currently 3rd. John Bailiff's had a pretty solid season as well, actually. He may not be in the sharp end of the championship, but there's been certain races for him. I remember in particular Interlagos, he had a great night, 10th and a 7th in this Aston Martin, and that's been the highlight of his season so far, and he's hoping to round it out with another strong result here tonight. What about Nils Kaur, one of our outgoing champions, champion of season 4, won the Winter Tour as well in the GT3s. Actually, no, it wasn't even the GT3 Winter Tour, it was the GT4 Winter Tour that he won, wasn't it? Back in the BMW M4 a while ago. And it's great to see Nils still up at the sharp end, but it didn't really work out for him at Imola, did it? He was right up there, and he looked like he had the strategy all in the palm of his hand, but he just fell back in the pit stops and just went completely backwards. Yeah,
it's just an issue. I think he had something about having an issue in the pit stops, which was what caused him to go a little bit slower out than he was hoping, which was kind of what undid his race, unfortunately. Seeing what he can do here tonight. I think, like you mentioned, the championship isn't... Well, mathematically it might be possible. He would have to win both race 1 and race 2. And then basically Lewis Ward, Taylor Evans, Jake Cranston, and Arthur Thurtle all ahead of him would need to not score any points. Yeah. And that would be just doable. A tie as well. Obviously... No, I think you'd get race victories then, wouldn't you? You'd win on race victories. Yeah, he would tie on points and basically win on countback based on the results he scored tonight. It would be ridiculously close, but he's at least trying to uphold some honour and get right up there at the sharp end for the very, very final race this season, or the pair of races I should say. A big shout out, by the way, to our championship sponsors, Orris Analytics and Derbyshire Holiday Homes. Big shout out to them for their continued support over the past few seasons, as Nils Kaur goes 2nd fastest. That's more like it. Puts the BMW right up there. BMW and the Nurburgring quite synonymously successful at the moment after BMW's M4 GT3, the Rover racing machine, took the win in the Nurburgring 24 hours just last week after a rather controversial final fight with the Grello Manthey Porsche. Still, the Nurburgring is always full of drama and controversy. This man had a good run here last time out, didn't he? Matthias Tem really got his elbows out last time we raced at the Nürburgring, and we look forward to more of that from Matthias. He's always been exciting to watch, and I'm sure that he's got a point to prove at this sharp end of the championship. Yeah, I think it was here as well where we saw him and Ben Idris Abdullahi really make make their presence known in the championship, wasn't it, Chaz? They really stamped their authority and showed that they were there to race it with the big boys out in front. Lovely little livery there for the Trackmouse cars. Again, with the pink wheels. Again, not so sure about those, but the rest of it, it's absolutely beautiful. Except for the fact they've got the wrong base livery underneath, so the numbers are not in the right place. If you see, look, the number boards are blank on the side. Yes. Poor effort, boys. Still, it is lovely though. Great looking race car. Arthur Thurtle making his way around the final couple of corners now. He will head across the line to see whether he can improve on his previous lap. Finds himself now 3rd fastest, 2:02.705 for Arthur Thurtle. He'll be pretty pleased with that, considering that it's a 2-minute lap round here and they are only a 10th off down to 6th place from the top spot. It's crazy close actually. Less than a second covering the top 16 drivers.
But right now, Lewis Ward sat right behind him on circuit, hoping to pick up something and see what he can do.
Yeah, I think it's just about trying to find that optimal grid spot. Obviously, sitting out ahead gets you clear of the melee that happens into turn 1 here at the Nurburgring. With the rolling starts, it does somewhat get alleviated. That's still not very comfortable because it's such a wide entry in, so a lot of the time you get drivers going sort of 3 and 4 wide, and then it pinches quite abruptly at the apex, doesn't it, Chaz? So we'll be hoping, or at least for his sake, Lewis will be hoping that he'll be able to get out in front ahead of all of that. But right now, not necessarily where he wants to be, is it?
No, absolutely not. He really wants to be at the front of the pack and be able to get away from it all and just make sure that he keeps it tidy on his own accord and isn't sort of distracted by anybody else in the field. That's the thing, really. And especially in these sprint races as well, it's even more important. Oliver Carmody off the circuit there, apologies. John Roberts and Simon Price currently propping up the board. I heard Hines briefly say as he came into the driver's briefing that Andy was doing earlier that he was feeling very slow around here tonight, but Hines still here, still an absolute stalwart of this, not just in terms of being a competitor, but obviously a sponsor of the championship and these events as well. But what a packed top 10 we've got there. Look at that. Adam Watson, Nils Kaur, Arthur Thurtle, Tim Perry, Lewis Ward, Taylor Adams, Ben Idris Abdullahi, Matthias Tem, Jake Cranstone and Matt Slighters. Lewis Ward goes fastest by just over 1/10 of a second. Ben Idris Abdullahi could also go right up there. He does, 94 thousandths behind in the Beamer. Really, really close stuff. And we're getting to the crunch time here, Ed, because let's not forget, this is a heat racing format for this final race meeting of the season, so they don't get chance to complete the laps they're on. As soon as that clock in the top left hits 0, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, so drivers that cross the line now will only have time for 1 more lap. Lewis Ward, I think, maybe just crossed the line in time to get 2. Same with Ben Idris Abdullahi. It's going to be close for Ben. But right now on board with the driver of the BMW, who went so well here. Obviously in races gone past. He'll look to try and take a claim for himself here tonight with that little bit more experience under his belt. And we can see exactly what the difference will be with that experience, won't we, Chaz?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's been a joy to watch Ben, and it was really heartwarming to see him get that race victory in this season, taking the second race win of the night at Interlagos, and we return now with another sprint round. Wonder whether he can play the game and get himself a strong result here, because let's not forget, we have a reverse grid element of these races as well, so the drivers have to think about not just the first race, but where that will put them for the second race of the evening. The top 10 positions on the grid will be reversed, with points only going down to the top 12, so a bit of self-preservation is needed on nights like tonight, it's safe to say.
Yes, but oftentimes, while you can try and preserve yourself, you can't really account for what everyone around you is going to be doing. And that's, I think, the thing about the Nürburgring is that it often does have a few surprises in store for the drivers, both the Nordschleife and, of course, this GP circuit. Ben Idris Abdullahi now coming through the final corner. Just going to have a look at the sector times for him when they come up on the screen. Has he been able to get any sort of improvement? Not quite. It looks like more of a measured lap, but he will, I think, just about have enough time as he crosses the line to complete this lap. I think he will be the final driver here on a flying lap. Everyone else now, basically, if they cross the line, that's what they'll have to settle for. Matthias Tem, and to settle for 9th place does not improve.
Yeah, a few more. Chris Jennings, Oliver Cowdy, Mark Johnson crossing the line. Simon Price has come into the pits in the Sponsex CDM Esports blue BMW. Heinz Mayer across the line. John Roberts just behind him there. And is that Dennis Van Beelen with him? It is. They both improve and move up. Dennis Van Beelen, 9th fastest for him. He'll be over the moon. Rob Sharp next up across the line. Adam Watson's done a purple sector 2. No improvement for Rob Sharp. He'll be 13th at best. Adam Watson on a flyer here. Personal best sector 1. Sector 2 is purple. What about sector 3? He's just going to trigger it now as he comes under this bridge. No improvement there, though. It stays white on our graphics. Takes lots of curb on the left-hand side. If anybody is going to take a last-ditch effort pole position, it's going to be Adam. Although we saw it last time out, didn't we? With was it Lewis Ward took pole position right at the end last time? No, it was Nils Kor, wasn't it? Nils Kor at Imola
Nils Kor
took
was,
pole
yes.
position right at the death. Sorry, I was just checking the results table, and yeah, it was Nils. What about Adam? He's got Ben Chalcraft then behind him, then Eric Manningveld. Neither of them really having any major improvements. Oh, I don't know if Adam's maybe not got enough in the tank here. It's a great first part of the lap, though. Thing is, are those other white sectors close enough to be an improvement for pole position? A purple final sector, surely pole.
Could be that.
It is. It is by 0.16 of a second. Great stuff by Adam Watson. And he makes his mark here at the Nurburgring to take pole position. Ben Chalcraft improves and moves up despite no actual green sectors. It was just tidier all round. What about Jake Cranstone? He crosses the line, and it's no improvement for him. Arthur Thurtle and Tim Perry are coming around the corner now to finish their laps. I don't know if Arthur's going to get it across the line. Is it enough? It's not enough to improve, and it's going to be Adam Watson from Lewis Ward, and then the two Satellite Racing BMWs on row 2. Great qualifying session once again there, though, Ed. Lovely stuff. And I tell you what, it sets us up for a great first race of the night.
Yes, definitely good news as well for Satellite Racing, isn't it? Being as high up on the grid with that team's championship as tightly poised as ever. But Lewis Ward, front row, that's going to be where he was hoping for to start off this evening.
So it's Adam Watson, pole position here at the Nürburgring with Lewis Ward alongside him. Ben Idris Abdullahi in third place. Nils Kor, his teammate, alongside. Arthur Thurtle with his stablemate Tim Perry also locking out the third row of the grid. Taylor Adams will start from 7th with Jake Cranstone 8th. That's really good stuff for Lewis Ward because he's got a few cars between them. Then it's a Dutch 5th row. Dennis van Beelen and Matthias Tem. Matt Slight will start 11th ahead of John Bailiff in 12th with Rob Sharp and Ben Chalcraft the next two cars. Stephen Burns and Guy Edwards make up row 8 ahead of Christopher Smith and Stephen Codman. Then we have Mark Johnson and Eric Manningveld in 20th position. Chris Jennings then lines up alongside Oliver Carwadine with Heinz Mayer and John Roberts in 23rd and 24th. Simon Price is 25th on the grid, and Dominic Brennan is just into the session. He's registered for the grid but didn't do a lap in qualifying. I'm not quite sure how long he's been connected to the session, but that must have been a last-minute join before we got ready for this race here. But the final ever, well, I'm going to say a lot of this, but it's the final ever race 1 that we're going to do on a sprint night here, Ed. It's all about whether Adam Watson can keep it clean at the front and drive away, because he's the only driver to win more than one race this season.
Yes, so far, of course, 2 races on the cards here tonight. There's ample opportunity for those around him to get up onto that top step as well. Lewis Ward will hope to have another race victory before the season's end to secure his chances this season. But the safety car gets rolling underway, and Chaz, obviously you've asked me oftentimes throughout these broadcasts, what can we expect going into the first race of the evening? I'm going to flip it back to you for our final time on the broadcast. What's your expectation going into this, the first race of 2 this evening?
I think Lewis is going to try and put up a big fight here against Adam, but Adam, as long as he keeps his first lap clean and doesn't let Lewis get anything on him, he's going to drive away here, I think. Yeah,
it certainly seems to be the case. Just obviously now pace is going to be set by the Aston Martin of Adam Watson. Put it on pole late on. Will that be all he needs to do to get ahead of Lewis Ward? He can set the pace, and he has already gotten, I think, onto the loud pedal now. Here we go.
And the final race meeting of the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenges 6th season is underway, and it is a great start by Adam Watson. He held the grid for a little bit, but he was well in his right to do that. Some of them wrongly assumed that he was going to go early. Taylor Adams there, very close to the back of the Aston Martin and the other Altitude 3M eSports car in front of him. It's nice and sharp down there as Oliver Carwadine is around. Looks like he's had contact with Chris Jennings. He loses a bit of ground, but Adam Watson, great tidy start there, and already look, Ben Idris Abdullahi and Nils Kor attacking Lewis Ward. He needs to be careful, because if he gets under attack too much, as Abdullahi's around, never mind, he's in front of the field. Oh goodness me, oh, he's been hit by Rob Sharp. Rob clatters into the front of that absolute house of a car. But Ben Idris Abdullahi, by the look of it, there's been more drama. Whoa, big accident. Dominic Brennan, Christopher Smith involved. Was that Heinz Mayer as well? What on earth happened there, boys? We'll come back to that in a second, but goodness me, Ed, massive accident back there.
Yeah, humongous, taking out so many of the drivers. Obviously, one of the ones that we earmarked for a great result. Oh, Sim Perry and Jake Cranstone get a little bit friendly with one another. Trying to go around the outside through the Schumacher on cold tyres. It's going to be a struggle for him. Just about keeps an overlap, but then that door gets slammed firmly in his face. Almost gets his fingers caught in the cookie jar there, trying to go for that position. Sim Perry covers him off, and now look at the opportunism up the inside. Matthias Tem leaning on the Porsche, work their way through the left and right handers, and then eventually get themselves settled. But with the chicane coming up, I'm not sure for how long they'll keep it friendly. As once more Matthias Tem looming in those rear view mirrors of the reigning champion. As the outside, late on the brakes, just trying to get any sort of overlap to unsettle Porsche is Matthias. But now, yeah, you can see he's not quite going for the moves, but more just trying to force a mistake early on.
Yeah, he's just putting his nose down the inside here and there just to try and unsettle him slightly. And we'll have a look at what happened to Ben Idris Abdullahi. I think he just lost the back end coming out of the right-hander. Oh, this was actually already when he'd stopped. And then he gets hit by Rob Sharp. And there was more drama after this from Rob. I think Rob maybe gets... Oh! So Christopher Smith was already out of shape, and I don't know if Rob... Well, Rob clearly didn't expect it. He then gets caught by Heinz Mayer again. Let's see what happens to Rob Sharp then. We'll just see if we can see this happening ahead. So, there's the incident. Oh, he gets smashed into. I think... Where's Christopher Smith in all this? What on earth? Where does he come from? That's crazy. So Chris is going along.
Smith.
Oh, he's lost it avoiding Rob, and then the car. Oh, the back end's gone. Oh, the right rear. I feel so sorry for Heinz Mayer and all of that, because look at this. Heinz is having a battle. He's side by side, gets the position. Oh, Mark Johnson has his own spin. Then there's more cars to avoid. Christopher Smith, oh, he bounces off that wall. You think he's got away with it? Oh, and he just gets smacked in that right rear. Simon Price avoids it. I think Dominic Brennan was the other one that was involved in the Spontex BMW. Wow. But the top two are ahead at the moment. Dennis Van Beelen's had a slowdown penalty. But looking at the championship with Cranstone 6th and Taylor Adams in 8th, at the moment Lewis Ward would open up his gap to 12 points in the championship lead. And I'm sure he would welcome that with open arms. But he is sticking right up behind Adam Watson, as we see Guy Edwards trying to take advantage over Dennis Van Beelen into the chicane. We've gone for the faster of the two chicanes here for this evening. Drivers definitely wanted this one over the slower of the two chicanes. But look at the lead duo here. Nils Core in third place, not going anywhere. But Lewis Ward certainly making it clear he's not hanging around here, is he, Ed?
No, he's not. The pair of them sticking to one another like glue, like we saw obviously at Imola as well. A little bit of battle forming between Lewis Ward and Adam Watson. Two incredibly quick drivers, probably some of the quickest we've ever seen in the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge.
Definitely.
Great to have them battling up together right at the sharp end on the final race meeting of the season. Straight Cranstone in behind. I'm just keeping an eye on him for his championship hopes as well. Needs to get a bit of a shift on. And ideally, he'd want to be, as a bare minimum, on the podium, really, if he wants a chance of doing everything he can to keep the championship alive. As it stands, he would be out of the championship fight going into the final race if it finishes like it is now.
Yeah, he would be 22 points behind, and unfortunately with just 15 available in each race, regardless of whether it's a sprint or a feature, then Jake would be out of the picture, as Ed rightly points out. Taylor Adams would still be in the mix, but he would need a second place in the final race of the season, and he would need Lewis Ward much further down and in the lower reaches of the top 10, which, you know, with the reverse grid is not completely unlikely, but we'll have to wait and see how it pans out. There's still a long way to go in this race. 14 minutes left on the clock, and some great battles up and down the order once again. And this battle's quite important though, isn't it, Ed? 12th and 13th place here between Guy Edwards and Dennis Van Beelen, because that is the final point scoring position here tonight. And because there's so few of them, the guys are going to be really fighting hard to make sure that they grab any point that matters, especially when it comes to the Teams Championship.
Yeah, looking at it as well, this singular point would put Dennis Van Beelen, I believe, ahead of Chris Jennings in the championship. So it would still be an all-important point for Van Beelen here. Everything counts up and down the championship. It's not just obviously the top spots, which obviously will get all the headlines, but all of these drivers have got something to fight for, which is what we tried over the sort of seasons, isn't it, Chaz? With the way that we award points, it means that every single point scoring position counts that little bit more for all of the drivers across the field.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, even in the Teams Championship as well, unfortunately for Team 11, they do not have PJ Clysons here tonight in the field. But Lewis Ward, obviously driving for Team 11, will be hoping to at least score them some pretty beefy points, to say the least. Right now, Regenta with Taylor Adams in 7th place and Matt Slight in 11th. Just having a quick look at the points, actually, just trying to get the scores all together here. Just because we want to try and bring you this as much as we can. As soon as we get the slightest lull in the race or the slightest bit where we can just focus away from a battle for a second, we're going to try and bring you as much info as we can. Lewis Ward would be getting his team still 12 points right now, which is a decent haul, to say the least, especially because it's just him on his own. But 7th and 11th would bring just 8 points to Regenta Sim Racing. Satellite are currently on for, well, Nils Kaur is the only one in the points after Ben Idris Abdullahi's issue. But just that alone is going to score them more points than Regenta, bringing the Teams Championship battle down to just 2 points. And then when you look at Altitude 3M Esports, Adam Watson in 1st and Arthur Thurtle in 4th, well, they'll be getting 24 points, so they'd be clear by 10.
Yes, they would. It's
crazy.
Impressive, really, what they've been able to do over the course of the season. Sorry there, Charles, my internet's been having a bit of an issue. It wouldn't be, obviously, SRM broadcast without me having a few internet issues right at the end to send it off. Oh, this is... that was a little bit distressing viewing.
Yeah, but Jake's proving a point. He's got a championship to fight for, and he is not letting Tim bully him out of this, although Tim is very aggressively defending right now. He's putting the car in the right place at the right time. Jake is having to pull out all the moves and all the tricks here. We know how wily and clever Jake can be as a racer. He's been either a runner-up or a champion in every Chaz Draycott Media Championship he's ever entered, and he hopes to try and fight again for the British Boring Car Championship title, a series that starts again next Wednesday on Chaz Draycott Media when I'm back from the United States of Freedom. And Jake, I mean, he's choreographed that move there through about 3 or 4 different corners. He's going to try and use the momentum around the outside of Tim here, very close to contact, but look at that. That is excellent driving by the pair of them, mostly so Jake Cranstone. What a beautiful move that was to eventually get past the Mercedes. God, he worked hard there.
Yep, could be, of course, one of the final moves of the race that we will have here for the GT4 Challenge. Obviously, drivers can nominate their overtakes, or other drivers can nominate other people's overtakes for move of the race. Get a little sort of acknowledgement and a little sort of little acknowledgement for it. It does promote obviously great clean racing as well, isn't it, Chaz? We have these little things throughout the course of a season, course of a race meeting, that the drivers are made aware of. Obviously, the safest driver had move of the race. All these different things that just has promoted what a brilliant little community.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic community from day one. Even the first events that we did, we had epic results and epic races from the get-go. We had hour-long races, 90-minute races at the likes of Spa and Alton Park, and I remember on some occasions they were, I think Mark Baxter-Jones won the Spa one on the final corner from Simon Povey way back in the day, and that was a few years ago now, as Matt Slight throws a move up the inside of Ben Chalcraft. Ben just being careful, and well, it carries great momentum around the outside. But look at this now, there's a bit of a queue forming here with Dennis Van Beelen in the background. He wants in on this, and he wants a championship point.
Here we go. Van Beelen, can he do? Oh, he sees the pair of them squabbling and he's going to try and take both of them on the exit. Has a great run, but in towards the next corner is not as long as he was hoping. So we'll just again have to sit back and watch all of the action unfold and see who's going to come off the worst and try and take advantage. Shift around, he was backing more. You can tell trying to back Matt slight there to get a better exit than he did, and had to back out of it on the throttle. And after all of that, doesn't really get too much of a benefit. Instead, he's going to try and do the Cranstone all the way around the outside, carry the momentum through the corner. Just doesn't work out for him this time.
Matt Slight just holding on in front. Speaking of holding on in front, Adam Watson may have led the race from the very start, but he hasn't disappeared over the horizon here. We saw a little bit of this from Lewis Ward at Imola last time out. Lewis very eager to not let Adam disappear, and we know that Lewis has got the pace to match him, but it's the consistency of that pace, isn't it? You know, how many times have we seen Adam Watson just do fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap? Lewis definitely has the pace, but it's how often can he string that together lap after lap when you're chasing someone like Adam. I mean, it's amazing to see, and it's great to see that even Nils Kaur as well, obviously previous champion here, is right on the money behind these guys as well. Fantastic racing so far, though, here from the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge. Thanks once again to our championship sponsors. Thanks to Orris Analytics and Derbyshire Holiday Homes. Their support has been absolutely invaluable throughout this incredible campaign of this great series. Andy has said that it's with positivity that he looks forward to the future, though, so this may not be the end of SRM forever, which is why we sort of make sure we highlight that it's the end of SRM with CDM organisation and broadcasting. It can only get better anyway. But at the moment, we've got a great race on our hands, because not only have we got 3 different drivers from 3 different teams, we've got 3 different manufacturers as well here, Ed, with the Aston Martin leading the Mercedes, leading the BMW.
Yes, I just also want to go back to the point you were making earlier, actually, about Adam Watson and his pure pace, and Lewis Ward just needing to sort of match that, be consistent as well, though. Lewis Ward, he's also quite clever with how he approaches the races, and when he decides to pick his moments. We saw at Imola, actually, he was quite content to stay behind drivers for large periods of the race and then decide when the time was right to attack and to go for those moves, and it oftentimes seemed to work out for him. We could just be seeing that here tonight, him being careful, being aware also just of the championship fight that he has to look into. Adam Watson is not a threat for the championship. However, the likes of Taylor Adams and Jake Cranstone further behind are.
Yeah, it's all about just keeping an eye on where everybody is. You know, we've both been in that situation before, where you're always checking the relative to see where the other drivers are on the circuit, try and do some maths as well. You know, it's not easy to do that on the fly. But one of the things that we often compliment about these drivers is that, especially in the longer races where there's a bit more of a strategy element, you're doing it all on your own. You've not got a team of 5 engineers on the pit wall telling you what the other drivers and teams are doing. You know, it's just you and your maths.
I mean, speaking of maths, if Lewis Ward was to make the overtake on Adam Watson, that would get him 3 extra points. As it stands, there's a 12-point gap between Lewis Ward and Taylor Adams, based on where Taylor finds himself at this moment in time. Because of the extra race victory that Lewis Ward would get, I'm just trying to work out, would that get him... He would not win on Cabot, actually, because Taylor Adams has had 2 second places.
Yeah.
Taylor would need to win the next race.
Yeah, he
So
would.
I thought for a moment Lewis Ward could have secured the championship with a race victory, but Taylor still has it based on countback for now.
Yeah, for now. That's the key phrase there, to be honest.
Actually, no, I wouldn't know, because Lewis Ward would have 2 race victories. Taylor Adams at the best would only then be able to get 1.
Yeah.
So actually, yes, it would be Lewis Ward.
It would.
There we go.
Yeah, it's so close, and there's so many angles that this could develop from. That's why we love it, though. You know, it's such a close championship, and we've had it all season. I mean, we've only had 1 driver all season that has won more than 1 race, and that is Adam Watson, the man that is leading this one at present as well. And, you know, in order, it's gone Callum Brandt, who took the win. We haven't seen Callum in a while, unfortunately. He didn't join us for Spa or Imola. He wasn't able to make the end of the season, and it's a shame not to have him and his teammate Matthias Pentila as well for RD Simsport. But we send them all the best, and obviously hope them great results in the future, as they often provided us here at SRM. But it was Callum Brandt, Adam Watson, Arthur Thurtle, Ben Idris Abdullahi, Matthias Penteler, Nils Kaur, then Lewis Ward, and then Adam Watson again. And, you know, even though Adam is the only driver with more than one win this season, there was 5 races between that, 3 of which he finished outside the top 20.
Yes, he's a very trees or trophies driver, is Adam Watson.
Yeah.
Said that numerous times about him, but that's why we love to watch him. You're never in for a dull evening with Adam Watson.
No.
Maybe you are actually if he's cleared off in front, which was the case in Imola, where he managed to storm away, but then we had all the entertainment in behind. So Adam Watson didn't need to do his part on that occasion. He just get his head down. This time though, he doesn't have that same comfort that he had at Imola with Lewis Ward and also Nils Kaur breathing down his neck. Speaking of, that's light doing that. Well, the exact same, but this time to Guy Edwards. This is for 11th place. 2 championship points for that position. Currently going the way of Guy Edwards. Slight. Not really been the season that I think we were expecting from Matt, has it, Chaz?
No, he's had 1 second place all season that he got back at Spa-Francorchamps, and he was really pleased with that. He's had 4 top 10s throughout the championship, but throughout the first 3 race meetings, he was only inside the top 10 once, and only on 2 occasions he scored points. You know, he had an incident or 2 at the very first round at Road Atlanta. He had a nightmare in the second race at Interlagos as well. But, you know, since then he's been consistently scoring top 10s and scoring good points for his team, and that's what Matt does. But, yeah, he's not been quite as close to the front as I'm sure he hoped to be, and as close as he expected. Obviously, he wanted to support his teammate as well, and the 2 of them were both going for glory in these gorgeous purple Regenta cars. It just hasn't quite worked out for them on this occasion. 5th and 7th at the moment for Jake Cranstone and Taylor Adams, which means 8 and 6 points respectively. Lewis Ward in 2nd place is on for 12. That does mean that Jake Cranstone's championship charge would fall at the penultimate hurdle here at the Nurburgring, unfortunately, and it would mean that we do not get back-to-back champions between seasons 5 and 6. But I tell you what, it's not from lack of trying for Jake, is it? Look at the language of this Porsche.
No, he's just found himself dropping back as we've now started the final lap of the race. Adam Watson over the line with about a minute and a half to go. Jake Cranstone, what can he do to score some more championship points, do what he can to keep the dream alive? Switchback maybe on the cards. No, not quite that. Aston Martin putting its power down nicely, but yet again we're going to be seeing Jake do all he can to set up the moves, well, several corners in advance, basically unsettle the car ahead. He's going to be able to hang it all the way around the outside to then get the inside line for the next corner. No, but once more just scuppering the rhythm of the car ahead. But credit actually to Arthur Thurtle. He's weathered that storm brilliantly and looks to be a bit more comfortable. That was very late on the brakes there from Jake.
But that's the thing, it's something that we've always complimented the Porsche for. It's really good on the brakes, is this car, and so too is Jake as well. We've seen it in other championships that he is so good at outbraking his competitors. So we'll have to wait and see whether there are any late moves from him. Adam Watson did the fastest lap of the race on the previous lap, but it still wasn't enough to break very far clear of Lewis Ward. Not long to go now. I'm going to keep my eye on this fight as well, actually, because Guy Edwards is right up behind Ben Chalcraft. If Ben finishes there, he'll start race 2 on pole position. And Guy Edwards wants to get that from him, because otherwise, that's the difference between pole position and 11th position on the grid, is that little gap there. Guy Edwards will surely have a look down the inside into the later stages of the lap. But coming up to the final chicane for the final time, it's going to be Adam Watson. Last week, he became the first driver to win more than one race. We've gone on and on about it already here tonight. But this week, he's going to go one step even better than that. No driver has won 2 races, but Adam Watson has won 3. He does it again, round the final corner. Adam Watson wins at the Nurburgring in the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge. Lewis Ward surely puts one hand on the title with 2nd place. Arthur Thurtle is going to be in 4th, but Nils Kaur is the driver that completes the podium. Jake Cranstone ends up in 5th, ahead of Matthias Tem. Taylor Adams 7th, with Tim Perry in 8th. John Bailiff 9th. Ben Chalcraft will take pole position in race 2 with a 10th position across the line. That is his equal best result of the season, and he's done that back-to-back as well, has been Matt Slight, the last point scorer there. We've got a battle going on here between Oliver Carwadine and Mark Johnson. These two have raced together for many years in the Porsche Club of Great Britain Sim Racing Championship, and it's going to be a photo finish with Oliver Carwadine taking that one. But Adam Watson, Ed, we keep running out of great words to say about Adam, and not only has he just done himself a fantastic favour there getting a race victory, but he's also now given his team the team's championship lead.
Yes, that's a very pivotal moment for them. Look at the altitude cars now all together. That's a beautiful shot, isn't it, with the light starting to dim just a touch, getting into the golden hour. That was a golden race, wasn't it, by that man Adam Watson.
Yeah, nothing stopping him there. Absolutely brilliant performance. First and fourth for his team means that they do get those 24 championship points. Team 11, 12 points. I think that does... No, they're not out. Can you believe it? They're not out of the running in this team's championship right now. There are 25 points between them. So, yeah, I mean, well, if you finish first and second, there's 27 points there. So, yeah, it's all still to play for in the team's championship coming into this. But actually, with Lewis Ward being the only driver here tonight, no, they are out of it. They are out of it. But there's 12 points between the top three teams. Altitude 3M Esports now have 174 points, with 163 for Regenta and 162 for Satellite. So, yeah, all that Altitude 3M Esports need is a solid result in that final race, and they will take the team's championship. Unbelievable. Let's have a look at the result then. Adam Watson takes the race victory. Lewis Ward finishes in second, and, well, bear with it. Lewis Ward finishes second. Nils Kaur gets another podium. Arthur Thurtle, strong fourth place there, defending from Jake Cranstone, followed by Matthias Tem, Taylor Adams and Tim Perry. John Bailiff and Ben Chalcraft complete the top 10 and will form the front row of the grid for race 2. Guy Edwards finished 11th ahead of Matt Slight, with Dennis Van Beelen and Stephen Codman on row 7. Sorry, I'm reading it like it's a grid. Eric Maninveld was 15th ahead of Stephen Burns in 16th, and it was Chris Jennings and Oliver Carwadine. Mark Johnson 19th, John Roberts 20th, Simon Price 21st. He was ahead of his teammate Dominic Brennan, with Christopher Smith, Rob Sharp and Ben Idris Abdullahi still on the lead lap. Heinz Mayer, the only retirement from that one, I believe, at the bottom end of the order. So, it's quiet. Too quiet in the pit lane. Nothing going on at the moment. No drivers there in the pit lane at present. I can't even change the camera to any of them because it has literally just gone very, very eerie quiet. But unfortunately at this point, this is where Ed and I just take a quick break between races just to make sure everything's all set up, ready to go for race 2. And we'll be back with you in a few minutes' time for the final race in the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenges 6th season. Will it be Lewis Ward? Will it be Taylor Adams? Join us in a few. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott and Ed May here for the final race meeting of the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge. We're here for the 6th season and the final race meeting here at the Nurburgring at the Grand Prix circuit. And currently we have Lewis Ward leading the championship in a very sunny and shiny sunset that we have here. Currently in the sim at the moment, it's 7:15 in the evening, so it'll be some lovely conditions for a finale. But Ed, Lewis Ward at the top of the pile. He's had 4 fourth places this season, only 3 visits to the podium, but his consistency throughout this championship has been absolutely stunning, hasn't it?
It's been so good, so strong every single time he's been out on the circuit, and yeah, it's just been really wonderful to behold. But now, as we get into the final race of the season, we do have just 2 drivers now, don't we, mathematically in that championship fight. Jake Cranstone just wasn't quite able to do enough for that in that last race. The ball's just not quite working there for him round here. So it's just now Lewis Ward and Taylor Adams and an 11-point deficit.
Absolutely is. Adam Watson coming into tonight with, I had down 65 points, but I believe it's 66. But yeah, Adam is now moving on up. Yeah, I had 65 points down previously, so I don't know where I've got that from, but somehow now he's on 81 points in the standings. I don't know how he's done that, but yeah, I think he's been incorrectly given a point for maybe pole. I don't know. But still, Ben Idris Abdullahi, he's up there in the fight as well, but not in a position to win a championship. It's all going to be very close as it comes down to the wire between those guys. But Ben obviously having his worst result of the season in that one. It's not the time for it to happen, really, is it?
No, there is certainly better times for you to. Well, there's not really a good time for you to have them. Is it just so you want to get in those results as good as you can. But yeah, Adam Watson, when he's basically finished in the points, basically not had like a DNF, so to speak, he's basically been on the podium all but one time. I think that one time was that second race at Spa. He's won 3 races and had a second place finish in the first race at Interlagos. So Adam Watson has been just completely imposed the whole season long. It's just those sort of that mid-season slump that was kind of what just became his undoing.
Yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy to have it go by the wayside. There is a point for pole position as well, by the way. I remember adding that because of having wanting to give people that, if you could win the sprint race and then obviously go on to win the second one without having to get pole by merit in a session, then yeah, we gave a point for pole position in that. So yeah, my bad. I should know my own rules, but as you can imagine, the amount of different point systems and things that I've been through bit by bit and season by season,
yeah.
Sometimes not giving points for pole, sometimes yes giving points for pole. It's it certainly gets complicated sometimes. Still, we have now completed the warm-up session, and we'll now get the grid. Ben Chalcraft certainly nervous about the final pole position going his way. But here it is, said grid. Ben Chalcraft and John Bailiff, front row. Tim Perry and Taylor Adams, a great second row of the grid. Matthias Tem and Jake Cranstone will do battle again from row 3. Arthur Thurtle and Nils Core, spicy row 4. Spicy row 5, Lewis Ward and Adam Watson. Guy Edwards and Matt Slight, another spicy row. It's just such a fantastically spicy packed field. The rest of it, though, is the result from race 1 as they were. So Ed, beautiful conditions, golden conditions here for the final ever race in the SRM GT4 Challenge with Chaz Draycott Media. What are your predictions this time, Sunshine?
There we go for the final time. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a case of, I think Tim Perry actually really did show some great racecraft. I would not be surprised if we see him out at the front pretty early doors. Obviously, that battle between himself and Jake Cranstone was amazing. He defended well. Now we can see if he can attack the cars ahead, like so John Bailiff and Ben Chalcraft, to get first race victory of the season.
Indeed. It would be lovely, admittedly, to see a Spontex CDM Esports car take that. And I'm sure Ben would be over the moon as well. But who will be the final race winner?
Yeah.
I think Tim Perry, Taylor Adams from that second row specifically, they are the nearest threat to our front row. John Bailiff did a great job back at Interlagos defending a decent front row starting position. Can he do the same here? Lewis Ward has 11 points over Taylor Adams here in this second race. Taylor in that Mercedes on the left-hand side of the grid. He needs to get the job done here and get it done quick. We're underway for the final race in the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenges 6th season. Matthias Temm and Taylor Adams are door to door as they head down towards turn 1 for the first time, and hard onto the brakes they go. Everybody fans out behind them. Taylor tries to make it work. They're 4 wide for a moment as they head into the Mercedes arena, and boy, it is close stuff. Jake Cranstone round the outside. Now Matthias Temm has to get out of it. There's a little bit of contact there. Ben Chalcroft's made a great start. And where is our current championship leader, Lewis Ward? He's 8th. He's gained 1 position. He's side by side with Adam Watson. Taylor Adams losing a bit of ground there in the fight as Matthias Temm goes with him. Oh, a little bit of contact on the exit. This is getting feisty now, but Taylor cannot back down from this, Ed. He needs to make sure that he wins this fight, and he needs to make sure he wins it now, because at the end of the day, he's got a championship to fight for. Puts his nose down the inside of John Bailiff. That's not how you do it. John Bailiff around Jake Cranstone off the circuit as well. Oh, Taylor Adams will feel awful about that. John Bailiff facing the wrong way. He's off in the gravel. Temm dives across the front of Taylor Adams. Very aggressive stuff there. In towards the hairpin. Side by side now with Adam Watson. A little bit of a tap here and there. At the front though, Ben Chalcroft and Tim Perry are the leading duo. And Ben holding on in this Porsche right now. But boy, it's all kicking off in the mid-pack.
Adam Watson up 6 places from where he started. He was going side by side with Taylor Adams. Actually managed to get the better of him through the Schumacher S. Now though on board with Lewis Ward, side by side with Taylor Adams in actually making the move done. So Lewis in a perfect position now to just ease it home and take the championship. What a start to the race it has been for him.
Yeah, he'll be over the moon with that. Absolutely over the moon to gain another point on Taylor. He's the only one he needs to worry about in this championship fight. Taylor, I think, was a little bit disgruntled at Matthias Temm after the first race. I think he felt that Matthias broke at a very strange point. Not sure if it was a case of sort of saying, was that a brake check at one point? But we know Matthias can be feisty. Hopefully nothing like that going on. Tim Perry goes for the lead though on the left-hand side of Ben Chalcroft. Let's not forget this is a half-hour race as opposed to the 20-minute race that we saw earlier, so drivers have to think more about tyres and preservation as Temm, well, flies into the first hairpin after Tim Perry goes wide, and Temm just sort of drives into the corner of him. He's just given him another tap in the rear. Ben Chalcroft finds himself back in the lead. There's no other way to describe it. And now he's still around the outside of Tim Perry. Wants a little bit more room than that. Wants a little bit more room than that. And there is contact for the lead. Tim Perry is around. I didn't think there was enough room left on the right-hand side there, but we were very lucky, more than anything else, not to have a bigger incident, as Matthias Temm now right up behind.
Ooh.
Oh, Ben Chalcroft. Oh, he's hit the Porsche. He's turned him. Oh, there's big contact. Lewis Ward's in it. Lewis Ward was involved. Has he dropped a load of positions? He's got big damage.
Front's gone.
And Taylor Adams leads the race. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Matthias Temm gets in on it. Lewis Ward's off. Lewis Ward is off. The car won't turn.
Damaged. It's gone. That front left suspension completely caved in. It didn't seem like there was massive contact, but that is just...
Well,
wow, that is a massive moment. And now Taylor Adams, he can scarcely believe his luck. He's not had any of that at all this season. And the sprints, they've not really been the kindest races to him, have they, Chaz? It's always been in those sort of endurance-style races where we see Taylor Adams come into his own. It's where we saw him get the race victory at Donington Park.
Wow. Well, let's have a look at it, because Temm put his nose down the inside and he hit the back of Ben. I mean, he's tapped him there. It's very close stuff. Tries to get out of it. He's still down the inside. I just don't think...
wheels on the curb.
Yeah, I don't think Ben's left the room, and then Lewis had nowhere to go, and Taylor Adams somehow makes his way through all of it. Let's have a look here. Look at this. He's back in like 7th position. There's one. There's Lewis Ward and Adam Watson side by side. Oh, they have to get out of that sharpish. They nearly went 3 wide for a moment. Taylor round the outside, and after Matthias Tem was probably his enemy in the first race, there's contact with the Porsche, and look at that, the seas just part for him. Tem's going back for the lead again here. He's off. Whoa, what was that? And he's out. He's off and he's out.
Hardware? Did he maybe hit an incident point? He's been involved in a bit of...
I think he might have hit the incident limit there.
It looked like there was a small tap, wasn't there, between the pair of them?
Yeah, it looked like there was the tiniest little... Adam Watson and Tim Perry have swapped places. I think Adam was limping back to the pits or something. Let me have a quick look here then.
I will say as well, Matthias' connection has not necessarily been the strongest this season, and at least I know from my perspective, when I've been having terrible internet issues, even the smallest bits of contact, a bit of door, and it should usually be a 0x in the sim, does sort of register as 4x, so it punished pretty heavily. This was earlier on. Oh no, it's just,
That's some sort of hardware or something failure.
It, yeah.
I don't know what that was about, but wow. He's not happy about it. He's in Discord about it already. Taylor Adams is now about to lose the race lead to Nils Court. And Nils finds himself in the lead. And Matt Slight, after saying earlier he's not having the season he would have wanted, he's suddenly in third place. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy.
So, quick bit of housekeeping, figure out the championship picture, at least at this point. Taylor Adams would be getting 12 points. He would win by a single point.
Wow.
If it stays as it is.
Wow. Unbelievable. Lewis Ward, I'm sure, can't believe it. He was on the brink of 3 championships. We literally just saw him get into a position where all he needed to do was basically finish the race. And all of a sudden it's gone completely the other way. Nils Court, 7 places gained. Ben Idris Abdullahi, by the way, into the top 10 after starting right at the back of the grid. Dominic Brennan is up 11 places as well. Ben Idris Abdullahi's up 16 places. Dom Brennan finds himself battling with Jake Cranstone, who's got big damage on that Porsche after his involvement in the earlier incident. Dennis Van Beelen, Eric Manintveld, they've all gained loads of places. Matt Slight has gained 9. Incredible.
Looking at it as well, Taylor's position looks even more comfortable when you consider the position of his teammate, Matt Slight, right there behind him, rear gunner, trying to keep the likes of Guy Edwards and Arthur Thurtle at bay. Or while Taylor Adams just has one sole focus, and that is make sure he can stay with Nils Court, use him as a sort of slipstreaming aid, keep the pace up. Well, it wouldn't be Sim Racing Magazine without some late drama in the championship, would it, Chaz?
No, absolutely not. And what drama we have had. And the thing is now as well, for a little bit of reassurance for Taylor, he's got his teammate right up behind him once again. And, well, I do wonder whether that is going to give him any reassurance or not, because Matt then has to play sort of rear gunner to Guy Edwards, Arthur Thurtle, Dennis Van Beelen and the like. There's lots of them that will want to be right up there, and we've not even completed a third of this race yet as the sun sets here at the Nurburgring.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sight, isn't it? The sunset and cascading off of these beautiful liveries. The Regenta Sim Racing was always pulling out beautiful cars for us, and we could be seeing a Regenta car take the championship for the first time, and also the final time here on Chaz Draycott Media. In the teams, seeing where they are as well, a second and third would get them a pretty nice haul of points, wouldn't it? I'm not sure if it'd be enough. Let's have a look. I mean, Adam Watson not scoring any points. Arthur Thurtle will be scoring. Maths quickly work that
He'd
out.
be
7
scoring
points.
8 points
Eight
for
points.
Arthur Thurtle. If you look on the second tab of that sheet, I have opened up
I've got one.
a teams championship. Regenta would take it by 3 at present.
Whoa.
Satellite Racing, though, actually, with Ben Idris Abdullahi coming all the way up into 9th place and Nils Court leading this race, they would get 19 points and they would lose it by 1. So there would be...
Oh no, they'd lose by 4 to Regenta.
Yeah, so it'd be
Yes.
Regenta, 3 points back altitude, and then 1 point back from that satellite. the top 3 teams with nearly 200 points each would all be separated by 4 points. That's just it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But once again, this is what we've had from the SRM GT4 Challenge season after season. Close battles after close battles. It's just been epic, and, you know, drama aside, it's been a hell of a way to round it all out. You know, we've not had boring races going on here.
Yeah, obviously, like we've mentioned before, it's not the end of the story for Sim Racer Magazine, but it is for it in this sort of, I guess, this format, this sort of period, isn't it, of the championship, with obviously your involvement with and the helping to run it and obviously broadcast it as well. See what the future obviously holds, but look at that, Arthur Thurtle, he's not holding back, going for a very important move there for the team's championship, because now he can set his sights on those 2 Regenta cars up the road.
Absolutely. So, the 2 drivers that were on the front row of the grid both had their own incidents and were way back. John Bailiff still running, but in 17th position. He'll be absolutely gutted about that. I think it was just a case of Ben, I think, just ran wide and just went a little bit deep into the corner. Gave him a tap. I'm going to try and find it. Tim Perry also getting turned by the Porsche. This is... oh, apparently Dennis Van Beelen going off. Apologies. Why is it doing that? Here we go. Oh, it was Taylor Adams, wasn't it? Sorry, I thought it was Ben Shellcraft, but no, Ben and Matthias were the ones that made contact. Matthias 10 went left a little bit there, didn't he? And there was contact with Jake Cranstone. So that was one of the first incidents that gave him some incident points then. That was one I'd forgotten about. And, yeah, unfortunately, it all came to a bit of a head, didn't it? It got, yeah, a little bit feisty, to say the least.
Yes, it's certainly. I think feisty is the most diplomatic way of putting it.
Yeah.
But obviously, in the final race of the season, you are going to get those drivers race with a little bit more of a needle, a little bit more aggression, because, well, it's everything to play for, isn't it? They can't really afford to think, oh, next race will be different. There's not going to be a next race. This is all or nothing, and the drivers race accordingly. For now, though, Taylor Adams with Nils Core just up ahead of him, doing all he needs to do for the championship. Credit to Lewis Ward, he's still going, hoping desperately that something is going to happen in his favour here tonight. It just wasn't seemingly the case earlier with that incident he just got caught up in. Complete innocent bystander. But now, all he can do is drive and hope, and it's a lonely race for Lewis for the next 17 and a half minutes.
Well, we carry on here at the Nurburgring, and it's Nils Core at the front. I think this is kind of fitting in a way. Nils has been such a stalwart of this championship. You know, I remember the very first race where we saw him come in the Chicane Online Racing BMW at Mid-Ohio, and he got into a few scraps. He didn't make many friends on his first day at school, and we thought, oh God, we've got to keep our eye on this guy. But you know what? He cleaned it up instantly, and he became such a valued member of the community. He helped out so much with loads of the setups over the things like the GT3 Winter Tour. Helped out loads with just setting up these seasons as well. And it would be really fitting for Nils to be the final race winner in this sort of era of the GT4 Challenge. But at the same time, it would be extra fitting for Taylor Adams to win a championship. Don't get me wrong, for Lewis Ward to take 3 championships would be unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, considering that nobody else has more than one. But for Taylor to do this, and to be honest, if he does it with a second place as well, he'll win the championship without winning a race. He'd be the first driver to do that. I can tell you that for free. And it would be the first season he's been in it that he hasn't won a race as well, I think.
Yeah, that's right, actually, because I remember seeing it. Was it season 4 for Taylor Adams, where he also had a very similar season? I think going to, it was one of the final rounds, I think, at Bathurst, where it had so many consistent results. He was still in with a fight, despite not necessarily having the same run of victories that all the other drivers had, just because of how consistent he was.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's just always up there, always scoring points. You know, the strategy's working, the endurance races and in the sprint races like we have here tonight. He just knows when to pick his battles and when to think about the bigger picture, you know. He doesn't overdo it. It's brilliant. As we look very closely at the back of Eric Manentveld's Porsche from Ben Idris Abdullahi. He heads down the inside. You can hear that Eric is still there somewhere. We get very close to the back of Guy Edwards. Sounds to me like the job is done. No. Oh, Eric backs out of that one wisely there, says no thank you. And look at the wonderful conditions we have here at the Nurburgring. I'm going there in a few weeks. I'm absolutely buzzing. Charlotte and I are shooting off to go and be a part of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship ADAC International Truck Grand Prix. Rolls off the tongue. And I am absolutely over the moon to be going there in my 5th season of truck racing. It's going to be my 4th time at the Truck Grand Prix. Cannot wait. It's going to be a joy.
Yeah, definitely. Just keeping us well and high on Ben Idris Abdullahi. His progress up through the field is slowly but surely edging Satellite that a little bit closer to a potential upset in the team's championship. Because every single point he can gain is one that just causes the likes of Altitude, the likes of Regenta to sweat a little bit about their position. Right now, Satellite Racing would be gaining 20 points, 15 for North Cole, 5 for Abdullahi, where he is now.
Oh, big moment. Whoa, big moment in the background there for Christopher Smith. Big moment indeed. Wow. Car got away from him there. I was just looking at the timing and I saw a car flick left and I was like, whoa, what happened there? And he just has this moment here as it gets into the gravel. Oh.
Whoa.
Chris Jennings will need some new virtual overalls after that one, I'm sure. He'll have swallowed the chair nearly in a moment like that. But goodness me, that was a great save by Christopher Smith above all else. Jesus.
Yeah, that was, well, yes. Very squeaky bum time, it's fair to say. Taylor Adams, Matt Slight, Arthur Thurtle, that's, I think, going to be a focus in the next 5 minutes or so as Arthur continues to slowly but surely close up to Matt. I wonder as well if Arthur might play a part in this championship, because if he can get ahead of Matt Slight and Taylor Adams, that's going to be a couple more points in the favour of Lewis Ward, and that will decide the championship in the favour of Lewis. So it's still not a foregone conclusion yet.
No, very true. At the end of the day, if all that happens is Taylor Adams drops to 3rd place, he loses the championship by 1. That's just unreal. And let's not forget, there are drop scores in this season, but you cannot drop the final round of the season. Both of these drivers have dropped 4 points. A 9th place finish in an endurance race is their worst result each. So there's nothing to be dropped.
Looking at the championship standings as well in terms of the teams, Chaz, I've just been keeping an eye on Ben Idris Abdullahi. He's now at 7 points for Satellite Racing, 15 points for Satellite according to Nils Cole's position right now as well. They would be basically if you want to have a look at the sheet, Chaz,
I've just seen it. It's 185 points to Regenta, 184 points for Satellite Racing, and 183 to Altitude 3M Esports. That is absolutely mental. So after so many race meetings and races with nearly 200 points each, the top 3 teams would be separated by 2 points. And that is thanks to the epic drive of this man, Ben Idris Abdullahi, fired up after that really unfortunate mishap earlier on. He had the spin, he got crashed into very hard by Rob Sharp. Rob's working hard on trying to get back into the points as well. He's 14th at the minute. Don Brennan's had a good run actually and he's up into 10th place. But Ben Idris Abdullahi is just driving like he's in a GT3 car here amongst these lot. He's now going up another position here, down the inside of his good mate Dennis Van Beelen. I know Dennis won't make life hard for him. And through he goes. He's up into 5th. Ben Idris Abdullahi started 25th on the grid. And he's up to 5th place already, and with damage on the front of the car. What a drive this is.
Mental.
I had to mention Dominic Brennan, didn't I? Sorry. But Dom's come to a stop. He's lost it on the brakes. As he's changed down, he's lost a position to Mark Johnson. 2 Trackmouse cars together on circuit. But yeah, Ben Idris Abdullahi. What a guy. He's now put him tied on points with that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking is he going to go count back from, is it each driver's best finish, would it be? What are we doing in the event of a tiebreak for the teams?
I don't think we planned
Maybe
one.
the amount of race victories, would it be the amount of race victories that the team's gotten? Because I think Satellite have gotten a race win apiece.
Yes, they have.
Benedus Abdullahi won the second race into Lagos, and I think the second race was won by...
First race at Spa was won by Nils Kaur.
Spa, yes.
Yeah, so, and also Nils is, well, he's on to win this race.
Yes.
So with Regenta second and third and no race wins, it would actually go the way of Satellite Racing, which is just, again, absolutely balmy. I mean, we look at the current standings coming into this race meeting, and Regenta were on top from Satellite by 4 points. So the gap's only got closer between the three of them. It's absolutely bonkers.
Let's not forget Satellite were the team that were sort of the third horse in that race, weren't they, coming into this? They were around about 11 points back from altitude. Single point behind Regenta. Now it's all of a sudden turned out pretty nicely for them, and it's all thanks to obviously Nils Kaur's race right now where he's leading the way, but also the work Benedus Abdullahi's put in. All the way from that disappointment as well. Let's not forget in that first race, completely taken out of the running order. It's gained 20 positions to where he is now. That is one heck of a drive.
You know what, Irad? Sorry to cut away from that, but Arthur Thurtle could be a spoiler in the pack here. 9 minutes left of this race. He won't have any favourites, but he is right up behind Matt Slight, who's having to give the hurry up now to Taylor Adams. And if Arthur gets past both of these cars,
yeah,
Taylor will lose the championship. That is how close we're talking. Lewis Ward is here. So let me just put this into perspective for you all here. So let me just give you this. The number 2 on your map is Taylor Adams, right? Lewis Ward is the other car, the Silver 24 that you can see. There's this many cars between them and a long old distance. Even so, that would mean that the car now highlighted in yellow would win the championship despite the incidents he's had. If this blue and green gorgeous Aston Martin of Arthur Thurtle gets by these two purple Regenta Sim Racing cars. Now, if he gets past Matt Slight, that's only going to harm Regenta's team's championship and definitely give it to Satellite Racing, because Regenta will lose a single point and be 1 point less and have no need to look at race victories or anything like that. But if he then gets past the Mercedes just up the road of Taylor Adams, then he will basically make Lewis Ward a 3-time champion and take away the opportunity for Taylor to take his first title. So there may be a humongous gap between our two championship protagonists right now, but really there is the smallest of margins with just 7.5 minutes left to go.
Here we go as well. Arthur Thurtle looming large in the rearview mirrors of the McLaren. Matt Slight having to go very defensive in towards turn 1. Arthur looking to the outside now, hard onto the brakes. We know the Aston struggles to put the power down out of the slow speed. The McLaren covers him off. And once more Arthur will need to try again some other way. Just gets a little bit sideways. Traction control kicks in, cuts all the speed, leaving to fight another day on the two Regenta Sim Racing cars. But look at the pressure that's mounting and being piled on by Arthur Thurtle.
Yeah, this is Arthur doing what Arthur does. He's so fast, he's so persistent as well, and he is not backwards in coming forwards. John Bailiff and Chris Jennings have just swapped positions a bit further down the order. He's moved up into 16th place now as John on his recovery after starting on the front row of the grid. But boy, have we got a championship fight on our hands here, and the two drivers that are involved in it are nowhere near each other. I don't even know if Lewis knows what's going on right now, whether he's got anybody in Discord or anything talking to him, anyone in voice chat, whether he's just deafened to focus on the task at hand. This is, well, nutty. Absolutely nutty.
It's pretty bonkers, the race that we've had so far here tonight, and it's still going on. Arthur once more looking this way and that way. Now, wider entry through the corner is going to help him on the exit. What can Matt Slight do to help his teammate out? What could Taylor Adams do to help his teammate? Staying over to the left-hand side to give the slipstream. They're working together, they're communicating, they're doing all they can to work together, and Arthur knows that he will really have to work so hard to get this position.
This is great. I'm literally like tensing up in my chair. I'm so nervous for Taylor Adams right now. He's in a position to win the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge on his 4th attempt. And right now it's his teammate Matt Slight that has backed him up season after season and helped them to so many great successes, that is now having to defend him once again here from one of the fastest drivers we've had in this community, Arthur Thurtle of Altitude 3M Esports. 5 minutes to go. Nils Kaur has disappeared up the road. 3.5 seconds clear in the golden glow of the Nurburgring. But behind, a championship is close to being decided. And it's close to being decided by 2 drivers that aren't even in the fight. Arthur Thurtle 4th in the championship at the moment. He's going to take 3rd with this current result because he will score more points than Jake Cranstone as things stand, and they are practically tied. But at the moment it's Taylor Adams in the purple Mercedes that will be shaking like a defecating chihuahua in the wonderful looking and angry looking machine. Certainly won't reflect his opinion or attitude right now.
But Taylor's doing all he can to help his teammate out. Matt Slight's doing all he can to repay that favour. It's been a match made in heaven throughout the seasons, hasn't it, Chaz? Taylor Adams and Matt Slight. The way they are always the first out in qualifying. They work together to slipstream one another, taking it in turns, and now, right where it counts, we're seeing this teamwork, well, used to great effect. But once more, look at the run here from that Aston Martin. Arthur Thurtle, he's trying everything he can. He's going to have the overlap, but so hard through this chicane just because the amount of speed taken through to fight side by side, and yet again Arthur Thurtle backs out of it.
Wow. This is ridiculously close. And as you can see, Arthur Thurtle is not taking any prisoners.
He's not. He's really going for it. That's Slight now. Again, that little defensive movement to the inside. They've got 2 laps to go until the end of the race. Nils Kaur, we haven't really seen too much of him this race, but he's been clear off ahead of. I thought for a moment Matt Slight nearly lost it there. He was going to come across the nose of the Aston Martin, parks it on the apex. A little bit of front end damage actually is that for the Aston.
Yeah.
It doesn't look as straight and steady as it once was.
No, it's definite damage as a result of that. I don't think Arthur will be too pleased there, but Matt did what he wanted to do and parked it on the apex to not allow him through. And right now I wonder whether Arthur's got a little bit of handling damage from that. He's lost a bit of ground as a result now. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. 1 more lap. And it's a big ask now for Arthur Thurtle to get by Matt Slight and Taylor Adams, which would take the number 65 Mercedes off the championship winning spot. It won't be the way that Taylor wants to win this if it ends up that way, because he's gained the positions and gained the points, you know, due to an incident taking out Lewis Ward. And that won't be the way that he wants to do it. But at the same time, you've got to take the good luck with the bad luck. You've got to take the rough with the smooth. And at the moment, Nils Kaur, well, he's a driver that's definitely had the rough and the smooth over his seasons in SRM, and it would be very fitting for him to win this final race.
Yes, 100% it would. Nils Kaur, a driver that we've definitely admired for a long time over the course of, well, a spell in the comms box, isn't he, Chaz? He's a driver that's always been up there, was a great sort of challenger for all of the names in Sim Racing Magazine folklore, the likes of Simon Povey, battling as well with Lewis Ward. He's taken them all on, and now looks like he will take the final race of the season, the final race of, at least for now, the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge here on Chaz Draycott Media.
Yes, indeed. Final lap underway then. Thurtle's still giving absolutely everything to get past Matt Slight in this McLaren. If Thurtle doesn't get a podium here, I'll be very surprised, but it'll be an epic defence by Matt Slight if he does hold on. Arthur trying what he can to be around the outside. It was inevitable to be contact, but you know what? Arthur had his nose alongside there. He was in his right. Matt Slight will not be pleased that it was contact, but at the end of the day, I think that Arthur was well in his right. Matt sends it back up the inside, though. He tries to trigger the spotter and say, go on then, I'll have some of that as well. Arthur says, no, thank you. That's bought Taylor Adams a bit of time, though, to get away from this, and he is on the brink of becoming the champion after not winning a single race this season, Ed. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is incredibly surprising. And now that has completely changed the team's championship as well, because actually, no, it hasn't. It's actually made a tie between Regenta and Altitude. If the calculations are right, Satellite Racing will still win. Based on Energies Abdullahi, who again could find himself gaining another position. But right now, the gap from Taylor Adams to Arthur Thurtle, I don't think it'll be closed. So for now, as long as there's no mistakes from Taylor Adams, he will be champion. Astonishingly, right in the final race of the season.
Indeed. And at the front, Nils Kaur makes his way into the final couple of corners to become the second driver this season to win more than one race. He rounds the final corner, and it is Nils Kaur of Satellite Racing that completes the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge with a win. But your champion for Season 6 is Taylor Adams of Regenta Sim Racing. And what a brilliant drive it was by Taylor. Sure, luck was on his side, but boy, he deserves the title. Arthur Thurtle finishes third. Matt Slight is fourth ahead of Ben Idris Abdullahi, Dennis Van Beelen, Guy Edwards, Eric Manintveld, Stephen Codman and Dominic Brennan complete the 10. And you have to feel for Lewis Ward. An incident that happened around him was what took him out of that fight. But Taylor Adams is the man that takes the title. And hats off as well to Satellite Racing, who take the championship by what? 1 point, Ed?
Yep, by 1 point.
1 point over both Regenta and Altitude. Oh my word. Incredible. The championship between three teams comes down to just 1 point in the end. Or does it actually? Wait. Wait.
So like a 15 mils for and an extra.
It's an extra 1 point for Altitude because of pole position in race 1.
You're right.
So it's a tie on points in the team's championship, 185 each. But Satellite, Nils Kaur just took his second win of the season.
Third for the team.
Third for the team. Adam Watson has 3 wins.
3.
But
Second
what about
place is
Arthur Thurtle, though? Did he win a race? He did. So that means Altitude 3M Esports, with Arthur Thurtle overtaking Matt Slight, it did affect the team's championship. It gave it to Altitude 3M Esports. Oh my God. Unbelievable.
madness.
Unbelievable. But there is your champion, everybody. Taylor Adams, winner of the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge's 6th season. And he will be over the moon. He's been working at this for multiple seasons now. And finally, it's come his way. It's wonderful to see. And, you know, it's absolutely heartbreaking for Lewis Ward. But at the end of the day, Taylor's consistency is what's done him that. And again, just to repeat, he's won the championship without winning a race.
amazing. Absolutely amazing stuff, isn't it? Sort of beyond belief nearly when you think about it, but what that is. Some storyline. Nils Kaur donuts to round out the season, getting another race victory to his already impressive tally in the course of his seasons at the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge. I think is he trying to go on the Nordschleife there? He wants to be let in, bless him.
That's unreal, absolutely unreal. Drew Fletcher is laughing in the background at us. and Dan McCauley saying that they hope I'm good at maths, and apparently they were going to be using extreme scoring from now on so they don't have to rely on our rubbish maths. There is the final race result then in the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenges 6th season. Nils Kaur takes the victory, his second of the championship. Taylor Adams, without a race win this season, wins the championship. Arthur Thurtle finishes in third, and with that result, gives Altitude 3M Esports the team's championship. Well, based on the fact that they're tied with Satellite, it's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Matt Slight finishes in fourth ahead of Ben Idris Abdullahi fifth. Great drive by Ben, great recovery. Dennis Van Beelen is sixth. Seventh place goes the way of Guy Edwards ahead of Eric Manintveld. Eric had a good race as well, with Stephen Cobman ninth, Dominic Brennan gaining 12 places to finish 10th. Mark Johnson was 11th, and the final point scorer was Stephen Burns. Jake Cranstone not scoring any in that round due to the damage. John Bailiff 14th, Rob Sharp 15th, Christopher Smith in 16th, Chris Jennings and Tim Perry. Then we have John Roberts and Oliver Carwadine. Adam Watson 21st ahead of Heinz Mayer. Simon Price and Lewis Ward were the last cars on the lead lap. Matthias Tem and Ben Shalcraft were the retirees. Well, an unbelievable way to finish the season, Ed. We're going to have a number of drivers to speak to, I'm sure. So we will start to make our way through them in just a moment when we skip back in time and get the music on. Just give us 1 second, everybody. I'm trying to click as many things as I can here all at once, and it is not quite working. I want a quick word with this man. I want to speak to Adam Watson. Adam, not the second race you would have wanted there, but a win in the first race, the most winningest, I hate that phrase, but the most winningest driver this season. You must be pretty pleased to come away with that and the team's championship, mate, despite a tie on points.
Yeah, we're currently trying to work out. I've literally joined the waiting room and everyone's like, "Oh, well done, Nils," and we're all going, me and Alpha going, "They're saying we won it."
Yeah.
What's going on? So, if we won it, then that's like we were really far behind before Imola. So it's really good that we've won it, and knowing that I'm a winning driver, I was not expecting that.
Well,
so race one was really.
Sorry, go on, mate. Sorry.
race one was really good. Me and Lewis knew what we needed to do, which I knew Lewis wasn't going to go for something stupid because it affects his drivers, and I couldn't do anything to slow him down to try and bring Arthur in because Nils was there. So we both did what we done. Unfortunately, in race 2 got detonated. Trying to drive an Aston with a broken front right suspension is not fun. No, it's definitely not. It's hardly an easy car to drive at the best of times. But no, based on the maths that Ed and I have done, you're actually tied on points with Satellite. But because you have more race wins, thanks to you especially, with 3, you win on countback. Then you're only 1 point ahead of Regenta. So the fact that Arthur got ahead of Matt Slight in those last moments is what won you that. Basically, it would have been almost a tie between all 3 teams, and it still was. It's just amazingly close once again. But now that Spotify has decided I've been talking too long, I wanted to ask you to sum up your thoughts about this whole season. This whole season has been great. Obviously, when I had the lull, I knew the focus was going to be on teams. So it's been a really good season. Obviously, we missed race 1 at Road Atlanta, and then came to Sebring and had that race win against Callum. But the rest of the season has been ups and downs. It's been great. It's like battling everyone, battling Nils, Lewis, people who obviously I raced with in the GT3 Winter Series, but came over here, and it's been a really good battle with all of them. And GT4s is a level playing field because every car is different. I wish there was a bit more Astons and people trusted the car a bit more. It's not just being Arthur. But yeah, no, it's been really good.
Well, we're glad that you've enjoyed it, mate, and obviously we hope to see you in future seasons, wherever that may be. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before you go?
Yeah, just the Altitude 3M team, Jonathan Walker obviously for 3M, iLiveries, Access for Inspiration, Sim Stickers, and Mr. Hedge. And that's all of them. Probably Mark will message me saying, nope, you missed these ones. But,
tell him shut up.
But yeah, no, big thank you to all them for letting, obviously, the sport we're having this, and it's been really good too. And obviously you, Chaz, for the last few seasons that we've been a part of. It's been really good.
My pleasure, Adam. Always an absolute pleasure to speak to you, mate. And yeah, hopefully see you again very soon. Cheers for having us.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, there we go, Ed. We will move very quickly on, and we will speak to his teammate that made a very decisive move in the final few laps there. Arthur, congratulations on the team's title, mate. Your charge through to attack the Regenta boys made it work. You tied on points with Satellite, but win it because of more race victories. You must be absolutely buzzing, maybe a bit relieved.
Yeah, relieved, because I had to get that overtake done. And obviously he had the inside every time, and I just thought I'm going to have to send it around this outside. He parked it right on the apex to make it on the lap before. And I thought, as long as I keep that overlap, I've got the inside on the next one. And the left-hander, I knew I was quicker than him through that one as well. So it was, that was like, was it last lap or second to last lap?
Last lap, I think.
I think it was last lap. Yeah, that was tight. Couldn't left it any later.
But great racing all the same from you and Adam this season. I mean, you must be over the moon. And fighting with these boys, I mean, you've just been chatting away with them in the interview waiting room, I'm sure. But, there's great respect between all the competitors here, isn't there? It's such a closely knit series.
Oh, it's fantastic. And I don't know if you've looked at the standings. I'm guessing you must have done. It's the teams couldn't have really been any closer at all.
No.
Before, it looks like in the standings, before drop rounds, there was literally 1 point between the top 3, like 1 point to second, 1 point to third.
Yeah. There's 1 point between all three now. The top two are tied, and Regenta are 1 point back. It's just nuts. But it's been a pleasure to have you and Adam as a team, and Tim as well in this championship. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to? We're unfortunately having to fly through the interviews tonight.
I'd like to thank you for all your organisation over the last few seasons that I've been a part of SRM. That's been brilliant. Shout out to Bream and Mr. Hedge for his photography and access to inspiration, and Sim Stickers, and the wife for looking after the kid, and Adam for being a great teammate.
Well, thank you very much, Arthur. An absolute pleasure as always, and hopefully see you in another series somewhere very soon, mate. Cheers.
Yeah, I'll see you on Thursday.
You shall. See you in a bit.
Bye.
Yeah, Arthur taking part in the Evolution Sim Racing GT3 Championship on Thursday. What he doesn't know is I'm going to the United States and will not be commentating on it. Let's have a chat with Matt Slight, shall we? Matt, flipping heck, you worked so hard for that tonight, mate. Commiserations on not getting that podium, but what a night of racing you've had. It was certainly busy, wasn't it, mate?
That was one of the tougher ones. I was just keeping an eye on what Arthur was doing the entire time, and also making sure I wasn't doing anything to hurt Taylor. So yeah, it was crazy race, great race. I mean, going from P12 I think to P3 in the first few laps was exciting enough, and then seeing what's happened with Taylor in the championship is just sort of topped it off really.
Well, it's been a mega season for you and Taylor again, mate. Only missing out on the teams championship by 1 point, and you were third, but missing out on it by 1 point is balmy. But it's sort of the perfect way to round all this out, isn't it? Yeah, no, it's. I was after the first one of tonight. I was a little bit, disappointed. But yeah, that last race was the perfect ending, really. I mean, just some tough racing, sweating throughout. But it's one of those ones where you cross the line and you're just that relief, that feeling is just so good. Well, before we let you go, Matt, is there anyone you'd like to give another shout out to before we call time on tonight?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to everybody in the championship. It's been a really good season of racing. Obviously, shout out to yourself and Ed on the commentary. It's been great. I love watching back the racing, and of course, shout out to Taylor and anyone supporting the Regenta Sim Racing team throughout the season.
It's been a pleasure to have you, as always, Matt, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you again somewhere very soon. Thanks very much, and catch you again soon, mate.
Thank you.
Well, let's have a quick chat with the man that won the second race of the night and his second race of the season. Nils, not the season you would have wanted, but still a strong finish to it, mate, and right up there at the sharp end of the order. You must be pretty pleased, especially to round it out with a win.
Oh yeah, definitely. Feels amazing to get another win in. This season felt similar to the last one, where we were also decided to go for a different car. And that, at the beginning of the season, I again first struggled a bit with it, and then near the end, it was kind of getting to me.
I was going to say it's one of those things where the cars are so evenly matched, but the strengths and weaknesses, when you see them, they're quite strong in these machines, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. And this new BMW is not it's in some ways similar to the old car, which I've obviously driven a lot, but in others it's quite different, especially when it comes to cold tires. As you have seen Ben spinning out in the first race, it's very tricky.
Yeah, it's a shame that that's what happened with Ben, because it was such a strong start to your night with both of you on the second row. But sum up your season for us, Nils, because I mean it's been another bit of a roller coaster, as you've said, but still looks like you've had good fun along the way.
Yeah, it was amazing fun, and it was probably another step up on the competitive side. I think we have never had such a close fight in the team championship and the drivers for such a long time.
Well, we've had a Drivers' Championship separated by 1 point and a Teams' Championship with the top 3 separated by 1 point, so I don't think we could get much closer. But thanks as always for being a part of it, Nils. You've been an absolute star for the last number of seasons now. Is there any final thanks you'd like to give before you go?
Yeah, obviously, big thanks to Ben, who did his first season for Satellite Racing and also managed to get a win in that, so amazing job there. And yeah.
Well, it was fantastic to have you. Thank you very much for your time, Nils, and hopefully we'll see you again somewhere very soon.
Yeah, thank you too.
Well, Nils Core, and one more person to speak to, isn't there, Ed? Who do you reckon that might be?
I don't know, Chaz. Who could it be?
Who could it be? Anybody but Taylor Adams. Taylor, mate, you couldn't do it in any more of a close way. Maybe not the way you wanted to do it with Lewis being down the order, but flipping heck, mate, you've won the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge. You must be buzzing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird feeling actually. I'm really happy for the result. But at the same time, it's a shame about what happened to Lewis. He had a great season, and for it to come undone then is a shame. But yeah, steady progress throughout the season. I went third, then second, then first in the championship. So, and this was the only one I didn't win a race in. So
yeah, well, we were saying that, we were trying to check back and see, because there was, I think you won one race at least in every season so far, and yeah, the one where you don't win a race, you win the championship. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But yeah, an epic season from you, mate. And again, you must be relieved winning the championship by 1 point, but as is fickle the points, the team misses out by just 1 point, and you finish third. The other two were tied on points. It's remarkably close, this lot, isn't it?
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, it's a shame I didn't have a bit more pace in that second race, because Matt was following me to protect me from behind, and it ended up costing us possibly the championship in the teams. But that's on me. But still, good result overall. I'm really proud of his performance, and yeah, third, only a point behind. It was a point, wasn't it? Behind two ridiculously good teams. Can't be too upset about that.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, all round your season's been wonderful. It's been consistent, and you've got the points when you needed them, and it's been a challenge. It's been a shorter season than usual, but it's been a very brutal mix of the endurance races and the sprint races as well. Much to the Marmite effect. People love them, people hate them, but it's a hell of a one to win, and the last one under my control, so to speak. So the end of an era, and what a way to end it, eh?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for all the effort you put into this. It'd be a shame. It's a shame you were leaving, but I hope you. I'll be racing a British touring car, so.
You will
Probably speak to you then. But yeah, it's a shame you won't be running this anymore. But thank you for doing all you've done for it. It's been a blast the past 3 seasons and the Winter Tour.
My absolute pleasure, Taylor.
I really appreciate it.
My absolute pleasure, mate. And obviously, I'm sure there are many, but is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before you go and call time on the season for us?
Well, first of all, you guys, you, Ed, and Andy, you'll put on a brilliant championship, and it's been brilliant to take part in it. And also, shout out to Matt for keeping my championship alive for me in that last race. Sorry to John for turning him at the start. That wasn't very good. That was bad driving on my part, so that wasn't great. And then also shout out to my parents and my girlfriend who are watching. And congratulations to who won then? In the team.
I know, innit?
The feature on points, who won?
So Altitude, we believe, won it on more wins because Adam Watson had 3, Arthur Thurtle had 1, so they had 4 race wins. And Satellite Racing had 2 race wins, 1 each for... Well, actually, no, they had 3. 2 for Nils, 1 for Ben. And they were tied on points, and then you were just 1 point behind on 184. So considering all 3 teams nearly had 200 points, 3 of you separated by 1 point is balmy. But it went to Altitude 3M Esports in the end.
Well, congratulations to Altitude 3M Esports. Great job. And yeah, sorry to Lewis for... Well, not... I feel bad for Lewis. He did a great season.
Fair play to you, mate. Fair play. Well, thank you, as always, Taylor. Congratulations, mate. Enjoy the moment. You have, above many others, deserved this one, mate. Flipping it. Go and have a beer. Go and have a good night. And we'll hopefully speak to you soon.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Well, there we go, Ed. It makes me very happy to say that Taylor Adams has won the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge. Obviously, massive commiserations to Lewis Ward as well. That's not the way that you want to win a championship, and I know that he'll be... beside himself with that one because he could have been a 3-time champion and he was the favourite coming into it, but just goes to show, you never know, do you?
Yeah, exactly. It's what we touched on at the start of the broadcast, that you can do everything you can, but sometimes things just do not work out in your favour. And it was just a case that he did everything right, but just on the day, luck was not on his side, and you need that to win a championship.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, that is the end of the night here on Chaz Draycott Media, and it is the end of an era here with the Sim Racing Magazine. As I said at the top of the show, we've had many shows, many events, broadcasts, incredible stuff. 6 seasons of this Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge. We've had the GT4 Winter Tour, GT3 Winter Tour, we've had the Daytona Classic, the 2.4 hours of Le Mans that we had last season as well. We even did the Club Racing Fest here on the UK circuits. Road America 400 kilometres. So many great special events. And yeah, it's coming to a close with Chaz Draycott Media as the broadcaster and as the organiser. But it's been an honour to run this. It really has. It's been such a great community, and it will continue to be. And it's been a joy to share the box with you as well, Ed, and obviously have you on circuit throughout it. Any major highlights that stand out to you?
Obviously, as a commentator and as a racer, you've sort of approach the championship with sort of, I guess, a new framework from when you've raced in it to then commentating on it. And I can safely say I felt so welcomed and a part of something really special, both as the driver in that first season to then moving into the comms box. And yeah, it's been with me for a while, this championship. It was with me throughout when I was at university in the first season, as in doing my final year exams when we were getting into the business end of the last season, so I wasn't able to take part in every single race. But then going into the comms box, obviously there's been so many amazing races, so many things that I've seen in terms of championships being as close as they are. I don't think I've ever seen championships as close as they have been in the Sim Racing Magazine, both the GT4 Challenge and also the Winter Tour, all of the special events as well. It's been really wonderful to be a part of, and yeah, hopefully long may it continue, and I'm certain that I'll be sticking around in some way, shape or form, be it most likely out racing whenever I get a spare moment too, if they'll have me for it.
Absolutely, I'll try and do the same as well, mate. But yeah, that's the end of it now, and unfortunately it's the end of the show. But thank you so much to everyone. Thank you to the championship sponsors as well, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Orris Analytics, Drew Fletcher and Heinz Mayer, such great supporters of the community since day one. And thanks to all the other sponsors we've had over the time throughout the special events and other championships. Thanks very much to you, Ed, as well, for the many seasons and events in the commentary box. And thanks to Andy Marston as well. He started all of this many, many years ago, and it's been a brilliant, brilliant thing to be a part of, and I will continue to be a part of it, just not in the same respect that I am now. But thank you all so much for watching as well. We hope you've enjoyed this, and this has been the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge on Chaz Draycott Media. The end of an era is now, and we'll see you again very, very soon.